All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out by saying Ka Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone of my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I'm Chanak Sa'am Ba Yasharala from the Lions Den of Yasharala camp. And this is going to be another Lions Den news and prophecy. And the article reads, as you can see, it says, is China preparing for a war over Taiwan, or has the West got it wrong? Here are the indicators, right? All right, so now, couple key words. Is China preparing for a war over Taiwan? Not with Taiwan, over Taiwan. So that war is going to be, they're planning, allegedly, is going to be with the United States of America. All right? And we all know this, we see it happening, and we see America being, United States being stretched thin. And that's all being done by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. He spoke about it, and what he spoke about is coming to pass, and not being prolonged anymore. So, as a matter of fact, let me get a scripture real quick. This is Ezekiel chapter 12. Verse 28, and it says, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the words which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, power. All right? It's like it. So, the things that, that's been spoken of through prophecy by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and the men of the Lord are coming to pass. They're not going to be prolonged anymore. All right? It says, going to the article real quick, it says, at a time when Russia has been making gains in Ukraine and the Middle East appears to be on the brink of further regional conflict, a China-U.S. military standoff is the last thing the world needs, right? But it's inevitable. It's going to happen. At first glance, however, it might appear that China is preparing for a long-term conflict with the United States over Taiwan, the self-governing island of 24 million people, which the mainland claims. In his New Year's address, China's President Xi Jinping stated that Taiwan would surely be reunited with China. Surely be united with China. And the only way to allow that to happen, because the United States already said they're going to back Taiwan, the only way for that annexation to happen is through war. Right, a physical land grab and annexation of Taiwan. All right, it says this is particularly significant as it comes days ahead of Taiwan's national election. All right, on January 13th, the result, which may deliver a more pro-Beijing government opting for closer ties, or is currently looking more likely a Taiwanese leader who wants to keep Beijing at arm's length. All right, and there was another article that I read that a military official in China said that basically two things are going to happen with this re-election in Taiwan. They say either life or prosperity or death, meaning whoever they pick to hold office is going to determine what side is going to happen. It's going to be dark or light, because China said if they get somebody, a puppet regime leader in there, that's going to be cater more to the narrative or the agenda that America's trying to push, that they're going to bring some some forceful retaliation because of it. Allegedly, that's what it said in the article. All right. It says the result, which may deliver a more pro-Beijing government opting for closer ties, or what is currently looking more likely a Taiwanese leader who wants to keep Beijing at arm's length. The election will see the pro-independence Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, face off against the conservative Kuomintang, KMT. The DDP's candidate is Lui Ching-te, who has been leading in the polls, has often been described as a more outspoken advocate of Taiwanese independence than his predecessor, the outgoing Tsai Ing-wen, who took a more diplomatic approach, believing there was no need to state her purpose for independence as the island was a sovereign nation. It says, any shift or pro-independence statement is likely to be seen by Beijing as a prompt for military action. Right, because that's what it said in the article I was reading. It says, since a formal declaration of independence is a red line for Beijing, in contrast, the KMT is seen as closer to Beijing. The United States has traditionally supported Taiwanese semi-independent status and sees it as a convenient regional ally. Coupled with the intensification of Chinese military flights around Taiwan's airspace, all of these elements point to Taiwan as a potential trigger for a conventional U.S.-China conflict. Other key indicators. There are other key indicators to watch out for. The Chinese military has expanded and modernized over the past 5 years, and its advances in hypersonic missile technology puts Beijing at an advantage, as the United States hasn't yet deployed an equivalent. It says, also significant is the growing perception of the United States as an enemy among the Chinese public, part of a government narrative, especially since 2017. This is also a common theme among Chinese netizens as well, many of whom tend to be more nationalistic than the government is. The United States, technical battles, it says, the United States and China are already engaged in an economic and technical competition. This has continued despite the apparent thaw in relations at the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in 2023, which the United States and Chinese president sitting down for a 4-hour chat and agreed to resume military-to-military communications, which can avoid accidental military escalation. All right. But right, I read another article that said that in response to the sanctions slapped on China slapped on the United States sanctions on 5 of their top nuclear military industrial companies that they use for military equipment. China slapped sanctions on the United States for them. So it's because it's definitely an economic and technological conflict between the two, which you can call it like a proxy or a cold stage of war. Right? It says, in doing so, Biden signaled he may be prepared to appear to edge away slightly from his hardline policies to reduce dependence on China's technology, because due to China's technology, America got hit with sanctions. His administration has not allowed United States chip manufacturers to sell to China, as well encouraging its allies to block the sales of high-tech chip making exports. Dutch manufacturers ASML's cancellation of its shipments of chips making machinery to China was attributed to pressure from Washington. A competition for economic and technological supremacy is already well underway. And that's what we were just talking about. All right, there's a little bit more. I may go through the whole thing. I got some scriptures that I want to go to. Let me see. What is the next topic? Okay. But we get the point. There's a lot of little proxy things, strategic things that are going on between the two nations dealing with economics and technology, right? Which is ultimately going to lead out to a hot, all-out war. And it's all being put together by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So let me get a couple of scriptures. We get the point that there's escalation and tension between Beijing and the and Washington. And we're going to continue to see that escalation because it's all being done by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. First scripture I want to get is Jeremiah 51 and 1. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind." And that destroying wind is going to ultimately be the missiles. And this is a precursor that we're seeing of that. Before a war starts, you have pandemics that happen, fall in the economy like a recession sort of type vibe that we still have going on right now, right? And then you have economical warfare, technological warfare, then all-out war. Same thing happens every time, all right? So ultimately what's going to lead to these missiles destroying this place. Verse 2, it says, "Now I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and empty her land, for in the day of the trouble they shall be against her round about." And those fanners are enemies, man. That's going to fan her, meaning fan her what? Scatter. How are they scattering America? Boom. They're shaking things up for one. You have Russia shaking things up in the United States, having the officials to move in haste, try to scramble around, try to figure out how to answer these calls or these moves and maneuvers that Russia's doing, that Iran is doing, that North Korea is doing, and also that China is doing. So what is that? That's scattering, shaking things up in America, and it's scattering America's armies, all right, round about the four corners of the earth. And those fanners are the enemies like Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China, and the other BRICS nations, which ultimately are going to become enemies to the United States and NATO. And NATO and the European Union are going to become enemies of the United States because they're going to have no need for, America's going to be collateral damage. Just chalk that up in the cost of war. There's no need for the United States and the dollar, the greenback anymore. All right, but they're still going to try to push that agenda, and try to go forth with their plans on the NWO, a New World Order. This is Job 20 and 22. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." Right. And that's what we're witnessing happening, man. All right. Everybody coming upon this place. Everybody turning against this place. Even the people that are in this place that help this system run are going to be are going to be against this place, man. To bring them to the straits, distress, all right, to be narrow, to be scant, to be in suffer distress, man. All right, and that's what going to be done by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Next scripture I want to get is Job. Chapter 18 and 14 is chapter 18 verse 14. It says, "His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and shall bring him to the king of terrors." All right, so this is all being brought forth by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and this is what it's ultimately going to lead to. All right, verse 15 it says, "And it shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His roots shall be roots beneath, and above his branches shall be cut off." All right. "His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the streets." Right. Because America's going to be totally desolate. That's why going back to Jeremiah 51 and 2, it says, "And he will and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and empty her land. For in the day of the Lord, day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. And ultimately, emptying that land is laying this place waste, man, destroying this place. All right. So back in Job 20 and 22, it says, "In fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits; every hand of the wicked shall be upon him." All right. It says, "And when he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating," man. And what is that? While he's trying to gain his riches, the Lord gonna bring the missiles upon him, man. Verse 24, it says, "He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through." All right. All right. There's ultimately all these missiles that are going to hit this place, man. It says, "It is drawn and cometh out of the belly, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him," man. And ultimately, that's what's going to be. That's really the leaving her land. What was it? Emptying her land, man. Meaning anything that's left here is going to be burnt up. Thus saith the Lord, man. He's going to send destruction to this place. That glittering sword is the missiles. The Lord says, "Sword shall be bathed in heaven, and it shall come down upon Idumea," and that's America, man. So once again, title of the article says, "Is China preparing for war over Taiwan?" Yes, they are. Or has the West got it wrong? No. Everybody knows what's happening, man. Everybody knows what's happening, except for those that want to try to hide up under a rock, thinking if they ignore it, that it's going to go away. But it's not, you know. All right, Lord willing, this lesson edify and serve his purpose. That like Sekah Halayim, like Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakak Wadash, my mouth. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the argument that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.